It was 9:30 in the morning. A very old man, dressed in simple clothes, holding an old brown envelope in his hand, entered one of the biggest banks in Lagos. The moment he stepped inside, all the customers and employees present in the bank started looking at him with strange eyes. The old man's name was Alhaji Musa Garba. In one hand, Alhaji Musa had a walking stick, and in the other hand, that old envelope. Slowly, he started walking toward the customer counter. At this counter, there was a female employee sitting. Her name was Ngozi. The eyes of every single person inside the bank were fixed on the old man. Slowly, Alhaji Musa reached near Ngozi and said very politely, "Look, my daughter, there seems to be some problem with my account. It is not working properly." Saying this, Alhaji Musa handed the envelope toward Ngozi. But Ngozi looked at his worn-out clothes, then hissed and judged him immediately. "Father, maybe you have come to the wrong bank. This bank is not for everybody. I don't think your account is here." The old man did not frown, did not raise his voice. He calmly said, "My daughter, please check once. Maybe my account really is here." Ngozi reluctantly collected the envelope. She placed it aside on her desk. "Father, it will take me time to check this. You will have to wait." Saying this, she turned back to her computer screen and got busy with her other work. The old man remained standing there quietly. At that very moment, another customer entered the bank. He was wearing a fine Italian suit, gold wristwatch, and shiny shoes. He was walking with confidence. His name was Abdul Garba. Unknown to everyone, he was Alhaji Musa's nephew. When Abdul saw the old man, he frowned deeply. "What are you doing here?" he asked harshly in Hausa. The old man smiled gently. "Abdul, I came to fix some problem with my account." The Abdul looked him up and down with disgust. "Account? In this bank? Malam Musa, this place is for the elite, for people like me. You don't belong here. You should go to those small community banks in the village. Don't disgrace yourself here." The people nearby laughed, nodding in agreement. One woman even whispered, "True, this kind of man cannot have an account here. Don't mention family here. Please, stay aside. This bank is for serious people." The old man's smile did not fade. He simply replied, "My son, let us see. Time will tell." Abdul walked away proudly to the VIP section of the bank. He felt he had silenced the old man. Meanwhile, the murmurs in the bank grew louder. Some said, "Why is a beggar sitting inside? These security men are useless. How did he enter?" These words entered the old man's ears. But he remained silent, waiting patiently. Finally, he said again softly, "My daughter, if you are busy, please call your manager. I also have some work with him." Ngozi sighed heavily and picked up the phone. She called manager Chandiyu inside his glass cabin. "Sir, there is an old man here insisting he has an account problem. He says he wants to see you." Sir, from his office, manager Chandiyu peeped through the glass and saw Alhaji Musa. He sneered. He doesn't look like someone who belongs here. Just let him sit. After some time, he will leave on his own. Don't disturb me with this nonsense." Sir. Ngozi obeyed. She pointed to the corner seats. "Father, please sit there. The manager is busy. He will call you later." Alhaji Musa nodded, picked up his stick, and slowly walked to the waiting area. He sat down quietly in the corner chair. But still, all eyes were on him. Some people laughed. Others shook their heads, and Abdul smirked proudly from across the hall. As Alhaji Musa sat quietly in the corner, whispers and laughter filled the hall. People couldn't stop staring. One young man sitting near him whispered to his friend, "See this old man, looking like he just walked in from the village. Maybe he came here to beg for money." The friend chuckled. Look at his envelope, Seth. It looks older than him." Their words stung, but Alhaji Musa stayed silent, his hands firmly resting on his walking stick. After almost 1 full hour, manager Chandiyu finally stepped out of his office. He was tall, well-dressed, and carried himself with pride. He looked at the old man and scoffed. "So you're the one disturbing my staff?" "Father, this bank is for important clients. Do you think with your clothes and this old envelope you belong here? Please, don't waste our time." The bank hall erupted in laughter again. Even Abdul shook his head, embarrassed that the old man hadn't left yet. But Alhaji Musa didn't raise his voice. He simply said calmly, "My son, do not judge a man by his clothes. Call your staff and open this envelope. If I am lying, I will walk away quietly." The manager frowned but waved carelessly to Ngozi. Fine, check his nonsense envelopes, so that we can finally send him away. Ngozi sighed, clearly irritated. She opened the old brown envelopes, expecting to find nothing important, but inside, she saw several neatly folded documents with official bank stamps. Still, she didn't bother to check carefully. She dumped them back and said, "Father, this doesn't make sense, you should leave." At that moment, another employee, a young man named Ibrahim, had been watching everything silently. Unlike the others, he felt pity for the old man. He stood up and said, "Madam Ngozi, please allow me to check properly. This man has been waiting patiently for hours. It's not fair." The manager rolled his eyes. "Ibrahim, if you want to waste your time, fine. But don't disturb my office again." Ibrahim respectfully took the envelope from Ngozi and opened it carefully. He began reading the documents one by one. His eyes wide, he quickly adjusted his glasses and looked again. Inside that envelope were not small papers, they were title deeds, company share certificates, and documents showing ownership of multiple properties in Lagos, Abuja and Kenya. There was also an account statement, and the balance was shocking. It showed billions of naira. Ibrahim's hands began to tremble. He looked at the old man in shock. "Sir, is this really your account?" Alhaji Musa smiled gently. "Yes, my son, but I came here today because I noticed a small error in the statement. I wanted it corrected." The entire bank suddenly went silent. People leaned closer, trying to hear. Ibrahim, still shaking, turned to the manager. "Sir, this man is not an ordinary customer. He is one of the biggest investors in this bank. His money here is more than—" The manager rushed forward, snatching the papers from Ibrahim's hands. His eyes scanned the documents quickly. Sweat began to drip down his forehead. Yes, it's true," he stammered. The hall, which had been full of laughter and mockery just minutes earlier, was now full of stunned silence. And Alhaji Musa slowly stood up, leaning on his stick. He looked around at everyone in the bank, at the mocking faces, the judgmental stares, and the pride of his nephew Abdul. Then he spoke in a calm but heavy voice. "My children, life is not measured by clothes, shoes or positions. You all looked down on me today because I came with a simple envelope and old clothes. You laughed, insulted, and rejected me. But you did not know who I was. Remember this, never judge a man by appearance. You may mock an angel sent to test you." And his words pierced the hearts of many. Some bowed their heads in shame. Even Abdul shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his pride melting into fear. And Alhaji Musa turned to Ibrahim. "Thank you, my son, you respected me when others mocked me. Because of that, I will not forget you." And the whole remained in heavy silence, as the old man picked up his envelope and walked slowly toward the door. But this was not the end. This was only the beginning of what was about to happen next. The very next morning, the bank was unusually tense. Word had already spread about the mysterious old man who carried billions in an envelope. Some staff whispered, others avoided the topic. But one thing was clear, nobody could stop thinking about him. By 9 hours, the bank doors opened. Customers rushed in as usual. Then, suddenly the atmosphere changed. And Alhaji Musa Gabar walked in again, but this time, he was not in his old faded clothes. He wore a spotless white babariga, embroidered with gold threads. A fine cap rested on his head, and behind him were two well-dressed aides carrying briefcases. His walking stick was polished, and his steps were firm. The same people who had mocked him yesterday now gasped in shock. Some even stood up in respect. Manager Chandiu froze. His lips trembled. Abdul, the proud nephew, almost choked on his own speech. Alhaji Musa walked straight to the counter and asked in a commanding voice, "Where is the branch manager?" Chandiu, sweating heavily, rushed forward. "Alhaji, sir. Good morning, sir. Please, come to my office. We are so sorry for yesterday." Alhaji Musa raised his hand. Silence filled the hall. Everyone held their breath. He turned, faced the entire staff and customers and spoke. "Yesterday I came to this bank dressed as a simple old man, carrying only an envelope. I was insulted, mocked, and rejected. Even by my own blood, Abdul, who thought he was richer than me. And none of you knew that I am not only a customer, I am one of the largest shareholders of this bank. I own more of this institution than even your so-called elite client." The crowd gasped. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Alhaji Musa continued, "Respect is not about clothes, cars or titles. It is about character. And today, I will prove it. You manager Chandiu, yesterday you mocked me and denied me service. From today, you are removed from your position. This bank cannot be led by prideful men who judge with their eyes and not their hearts." And Chandiu fell to his knees. "Sir, please forgive me. It was a mistake." But Alhaji Musa shook his head. "Pride blinds a man until he falls into a pit. Your time is over." He turned to Ibrahim, the humble worker. "You, my son, respected me when everyone else laughed. For that, I reward you. From today, you are the new branch manager. Serve people with humility, and you will rise even higher." The whole erupted.
Yeah.
Some clapped in shock, others bowed their heads in shame. Ibrahim himself dropped to his knees, tears in his eyes. "Thank you, sir. I will never forget this kindness." Finally, Alhaji Musa turned to his nephew, Abdul. "My blood, my own family. You looked at me and said I was not the type for this bank. You forgot that wealth can disappear in a day, but respect remains forever. You have disgraced yourself. From today, I cut off every support I give you until you learn humility." And Abdul's face burned with shame. He wanted to speak, but no words came out. He lowered his head, trembling. Before leaving, Alhaji Musa raised his voice so that everyone could hear. "Let this be a lesson to all of you here, and to every soul in Lagos. Never judge a man by appearance. The beggar you mock today may be the king tomorrow. The poor man you despise may be the one to save you. Respect all, for you do not know who carries wealth, wisdom or blessing in their envelope." With that he turned and walked out majestically, his aides following behind him. The entire bank hall remained silent. Some wept in regret. Others shook their heads at their own foolishness. And Ibrahim, he stood tall, promoted, his heart filled with gratitude, proof that humility always wins. Moral of the story: never look down on anyone because of their appearance. True wealth is not in clothes, cars or flashy lifestyles, but in respect, humility, and hidden strength.
Don't let this lesson end here. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country below, hit that subscribe button, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it today.